where I will be sharing the recording of this presentation for those that were unable to make it this evening. So for context, before we begin the meat of the presentation, you should be aware that following the outbreak of COVID-19, the emergency management team, of which I was a member, very quickly pivoted and renamed itself as the Campus Reopening Task Force. Are you all seeing my screen okay? There we go.
Yes, we are now. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So as I mentioned, when the pandemic hit, the emergency management team of which I was a part of quickly pivoted, renamed itself as the Campus Reopening Task Force. And that was about mid-April. So that larger task force was then split into 6 subcommittees to represent the areas of our campus that needed thorough consideration to safely reopen this fall. The subcommittees included members of our administration, our faculty, staff, and in some cases our students as well, and focused on these key areas: risk mitigation, academics, employees, residence life, co-curricular activities, and communications. I had the pleasure of serving with Dr. Julia Davids, Professor of Music and Director of Choral Activities on the Academic Subcommittee, and with Dr. Chad Eric Bergman, Professor of Theater and Theater Department Chair on the Co-Curricular Subcommittee. So SMAT was very well represented at the table in these conversations. Each of these subcommittees were and are still charged with a variety of tasks each day, while keeping in mind the overarching guiding principles provided by our campus president. The first guiding principle is the protection and overall health, safety, and wellness of our students, faculty, and staff, as guided by the CDC state and local protocols and other governing bodies for colleges and universities. And the second is to deliver the highest quality academic and residential experience that we can within our available resources. So let's begin by reviewing some of that information and the resources that the university has created to help inform students, faculty, and staff about the upcoming semester. As you may already be aware, several notifications have been sent from the university to your North Park email addresses concerning our plans to safely reopen this fall semester. These messages, along with other valuable materials, have been posted and archived on our Fall 2020 website. This is the first resource I'd like to share with you. Feel free to click on the link as they appear on your screen. They are active links. So the Fall 2020 webpage acts as a central hub where the university has and will be posting important information and updates, and I invite you to visit this page as needed for the most updated information. Second, and located on the same Fall 2020 webpage, I'd like to call your attention to our 4 training modules. These modules were very thoughtfully and carefully developed by our university nurse and head athletic trainer. Together, they work tirelessly to interpret and stay current with all matters related to COVID-19. In addition, I had the opportunity to work closely with them, and they have worked closely with departments across campus to ensure stringent disinfectant procedures, addressing physical distancing strategies in classrooms, offices, and high traffic areas, recommending treatments for safe airflow and ventilation in classrooms, rehearsal rooms, and offices, and consulting with department leaders such as myself regarding risk mitigation and planning in our specific areas of study. I can say they've been invaluable to myself and to our SMAT faculty and have helped us formulate very informed decisions, some of which you'll hear about today in our presentation. So covered in Module 1 is an overview of the virus, how it spreads, and symptoms. Module 2 focuses on general risk mitigation strategies and community responsibility across campus. Module 3 points to key findings by OSHA, which is the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, as well as important information about PPE, which we all know well is personal protective equipment. Module 4 addresses screening tools, how to contact health services, and information about isolation and quarantine. If you haven't already completed these modules, I encourage you to do so. And also at the end of the modules, read and sign the Viking Shield, which is a promise by all of our community to abide by these policies set forth as we enter into a time of shared community responsibility and to keep one another safe. Third, I'm not sure if some of you had the opportunity or not, but on Tuesday evening, there was a town hall conducted by our task force. This recording is also posted on our Fall 2020 website, and it's a very succinct presentation outlining safety, campus healthcare, academics, residential and campus life, and communication given by our members of the task force themselves. It's a very helpful, succinct, again, 57-minute presentation. And it also has detailed information about our new Campus Clear app, which is going to be rolled out at the end of this week. It's an app that requires students to complete a self-screening exercise each morning and report their findings. Finally, if you haven't liked our SMAT Facebook page, I encourage you to do so as more casual and informal updates are posted on this page periodically. Now, on to our second matter at hand, and that is what you can expect during your classes this fall. First of all, some statistics. In SMAT, both at the undergrad and graduate level, we'll be offering 133 courses this fall term. 31% of those courses will be fully online, 25% will be face-to-face, and 44% will be hybrid. In the graduate area in music specifically, those numbers come out to be 17% fully online, 25% face-to-face, and 58% hybrid. There will be 24 graduate courses offered. In music, applied instruction will be hybrid, unless accommodations for 100% online instruction have been requested by the instructor or by the student. The goal for applied study will be to complete 1/3 of the 15 lessons in person, face-to-face, on campus, and 2/3 of the lessons using a virtual conferencing platform. Ensembles will take on a hybrid model, and more details about each ensemble will be shared later in this presentation. Core musicianship courses will be offered in a variety of modes, ranging from fully online for our new oral skills sequence to face-to-face classes for music history and literature 1. In the art department, art history courses will vary, as some will be online and some will be hybrid. For example, Art 2017, Early Modern Art History, has a larger group of students, so they will be split into groups using both days on Tuesday and Thursday, and others not face-to-face will join and have the option to engage with the material remotely, either synchronously or asynchronously. Art studio classes will be de-densified to allow for appropriate physical distancing, and instructors will be mindful of the length of their class periods. For one instructor in particular, Nena Okore, who just completed a year-long sabbatical in Australia, she will be still in Australia, teaching 100% online and focusing on using materials that can be found in students' homes to create their art projects. In theater, the Chicago Theater Experience course is being built online 100% with required virtual attendance of shows produced in the Chicago area. As well, theater will be engaging in some very exciting face-to-face instruction as it relates to their productions this semester, which we'll also hear more about in a moment. The instructional delivery mode notated on your class schedule in self-service will be one of these three options. Please be alert to communications from each of your professors in order to understand your responsibilities. In a normal semester, it may take a week or two to get adjusted and understand your schedule, where you're supposed to be at what time. But this term may require a little bit more communication and awareness, as it may change from time to time. Our physical spaces on campus may also look a little bit different, especially if you've visited our campus previously. The risk mitigation team worked very closely with SMAT to evaluate our spaces and take the proper precautions. In each building, there was a 30% or more reduction in usable space to accommodate for physical distancing in the classroom. For music specifically, Hanson Hall, you'll notice recognizable changes that have been made to the lobby on the left and to H202 on the right. It was recommended that cloth furniture be removed and replaced with items that could easily be wiped down. And for art and theater, in Wilson Hall, you'll notice a de-densification in each classroom and the removal of furniture. For example, Wilson 21, which is primarily used for art history, music theory, and oral skills, used to have a cap of 30 students, but now has a cap of 11. And Wilson Hall Room 24, used primarily for music theory and oral skills, now has a cap of 8. For theater, because their academic coursework will be primarily online, they will only be utilizing a studio on Foster Avenue as a temporary home base for their 2 fall shows. As well, throughout SMAT facilities, you'll notice hand sanitizer dispensers in each classroom, studio, and practice room, as well as in high traffic areas. You'll notice paper towel dispensers and spray bottles, so all of us can contribute to the shared community responsibility to keep one another healthy and safe. On to ensembles and events. In music, as previously mentioned, our ensembles will be delivered in a hybrid format with ensemble rehearsals, both virtual and face-to-face. For all face-to-face elements, physical distance and masking will be required at all times. As well, specific PPE items have been purchased, such as special singer masks, movable plexiglass shields, and Windsorb spit catchers for trumpets, to name a few items. Ensembles will use their posted class days and times for rehearsals. However, in keeping with the most current research, directors will divide students into small groups or sectionals, 10 or less, to reduce the number of students in the room at one time, and use smaller rehearsal time frames, 30 minutes or less. To allow for ventilation of the room, we will also require 30 minutes in between sessions. All concerts for this coming fall semester will be delivered as live streamed events or prepared as recordings for online viewing. More specifically, our choirs, University Choir, Women's Chorale, and Chamber Singers, will have a focus of skill development in vocal technique and applied sight singing and sight reading skills. There will also be a focus on the intersection of arts and social concerns. And for choral events, the goal is to have at least one virtual pre-recorded event for online viewing, as well as a participation in a virtually created event, and that is our wonderful, beloved annual Christmas concert, the Festival of Lessons and Carols. The gospel choir will also proceed in a hybrid format with small groups meeting in rotation for face-to-face instruction and additional instruction online through our learning management system, Canvas. The goal will be to virtually record 5 pieces to be integrated into chapel and college life services, as well as the Festival of Lessons and Carols. The gospel choir, touring ensemble, and band will resume instruction in the spring semester. University Ministries worship team ensembles will create recorded material to be used in weekly chapel services as well as college life, and rehearsals will be shaped by content and contribute to monthly themes. Finally, performances for opera workshop will be captured as audio recordings with performers lip-syncing video to create a fully produced music video. For our instrumental ensembles, the University Orchestra plans to meet as a string ensemble only. The fall concert will either be live streamed or recorded and released for online viewing at a later date, and the orchestra will also participate in the Festival of Lessons and Carols. Concert band and jazz ensemble will meet in small groups in Hamming Hall. Concerts will either be live streamed or recorded and released for online viewing, and these groups will contribute to the Festival of Lessons and Carols as well. Jazz combos and chamber music are uniquely set up in small groups already, so provided rehearsals take place in large spaces with masks and physical distance, as well as limited intervals, these ensembles can closely operate to what we consider normal. Groups will be assigned with 4 or fewer members, and performances may be live streamed or released at a later date for recorded and then released for as a later date for online viewing. The art department will proceed with exhibitions in the Carlson Tower Gallery as planned. One of the exhibitions will be of quarantine projects, which, as the name suggests, will feature artworks that artists have created during the pandemic. Artworks will be shown virtually using monitors that can be viewed through the windows of the gallery. Another exhibition will feature a North Park alumna, Rachel Lindsay, who completed her Master of Fine Arts at the University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana. It will take place both in the gallery as an installation that can be viewed through the windows of the gallery, as well as outdoor installations at sites across campus. Our gallery director, Tim Lowley, also plans to create downloadable PDFs of the exhibitions so they may be viewed. The theater department will have 2 productions this fall, Project 24 and their fall show. For Project 24, as you may have seen in city parks, you've seen chalk to create physically distanced circles. Well, with the audience sitting in pre-marked circles on the hump or green space, theater plans to have a performance from the balcony of the outside of the lecture hall auditorium with an audience present. And for the fall show, the theater department will be partnering with a Chicago-based Manual Cinema, a Chicago arts collective recently highlighted in the New York Times for their, quote, vivacious hybrids of film and theater. During the partnership, Manual Cinema will conduct a workshop with our students and help produce a cinematic puppet production. Last but not least, there are some policies for safety that we need to be aware of, especially in music. For our practice rooms, there will be 2 new policies. The first is that students will be required to sign out practice room time, and practice room time will be limited to 1-hour time frames with a 30-minute downtime in between each practice room usage for proper ventilation. Second, students must also clean the practice room when entering according to the posted guidelines. For applied lessons, we have a policy that face-to-face lessons must be 30 minutes or less and utilize a large space on campus, such as Anderson Chapel or Hanson 202, and allow for 30 minutes or more of ventilation in the space where the lesson occurs before another use is taken on. It is my pleasure to share this information with you, and at this time I would welcome any questions that you might have. And if you do have a question, just feel free to unmute yourself. And I'll take the sharing or the presentation down so I can see everyone's faces here. Don't be shy. I actually was speaking with some returning students this morning about the same information, and they had some good questions. So,
Dr. Ryan, can I ask a question?
absolutely, Erin. Start us off. Thank you.
Can you tell me about the singer masks? I want it. Can we talk about that?
Yes, yes. We have purchased singers masks, which were created by the Broadway Relief Project. And I actually have a sample right here. If you've been following me on Facebook, you've already seen me modeling it. But all of our students with voice as a primary instrument and anyone who is singing in the choirs or worship teams or whatnot will wear one of these masks when singing. And I have to say, they're very efficient. It takes a little bit to get used to, but it provides good coverage and it is adjustable. So the school will be providing these masks to the students. In addition, North Park is providing a student care package with a North Park branded mask that's blue. I also have modeled that on our SMAT Facebook page. And also in the care package, you'll get a North Park branded thermometer so you can complete your self-assessment at the beginning of each day. Good question, Erin. Thank you. Other questions?
Hi, I have a question. This is
Yes.
Roman's mom. Hello.
Hi.
And I was asking, because Roman and I were kind of looking, how do you know on the schedule if it's a hybrid without going into the class itself? How do you know if it's a hybrid?
It
You know what I
should be listed under location.
Okay.
And I think you do actually have to click into the class.
Yeah, because we did see it. And then here's my next question on that one. When will teachers be, I know he's had a couple teachers already communicated when, you know, if he has a time here or there or whatever to work it out. So will all the teachers kind of be doing that, do you know? Like for the hybrid class? Okay.
Right, yes. Yes, communication is definitely going to be key, especially with those hybrid classes and applied lessons. So instructors, I have been talking with them on Monday to, last Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week. And I have told them, as early as tomorrow would be a great time to get in touch with your students and kind of explain what your plan's going to be. And in fact, I think Dr. Joe Lill, just before we got on this call, sent 2 emails to anyone registered for jazz ensemble and concert band. I just had a chance to quickly read through those emails. So instructors will be starting to reach out.
Yeah, I was telling you, your keyboard instructor was really funny. She was very cute. So she's already got us out there. So.
Oh, great.
All right. I think that's all our questions, right, Roman? Okay. Thank
you. You can jump back in if you think of something else. We've got time.
Do you know when we'll find out about like vocal lessons or like lessons, like what our teachers or what the plan is for that? Do you know when we'll figure that out?
Yes, studio assignments have been made and those assignments should be listed in your schedule. Are you not registered for lessons yet?
I never got an email about it or anything, but I did get a scholarship for music, so I know it's a requirement for it, but I didn't ever get anything about it specifically.
Let's connect Erin, Emma, to Yusong and make sure that we have an assignment and that she's registered appropriately.
Okay.
Great.
Emma Hernandez.
Yep.
Correct. Okay. Will do, Emma.
Good question. I know that Dr. Yusong has made those assignments, and the registration should have gone through, but yes, if we've missed it, we'll go back and fix it.
I also have that same problem. I haven't seen anything, but I also got a music scholarship with
Okay, so another one, Evelyn Ramgren.
Yeah.
Thank you, Evelyn. And
I
sometimes
just want to
that,
add,
go
sorry,
Go
Dr.
ahead.
Ryan. With some of those that have been requesting lessons, I know that some of you have reached out to me individually, and so I've been connecting with student engagement. So some of you I've potentially already reached out. So I'm just waiting for a response at this time. But regardless, I will send reminders if the request has not been put in. So anyway, just want to let you know that.
Great, great. Good. Other questions?
Dr.
Emma.
Ryan, I have a question.
Yeah.
Hi. As far as reserving practice rooms,
Mhm.
is there like a standing weekly reservation, or do you just, is it first come, first served? How does that work?
It would be a standing weekly reservation.
Excellent.
And you know, one of our current students had a great question. She said, you know, what if Johnny's rehearsing in the room and I see that he had an hour reserved, but he left a half hour early. And I know that, and as much as possible, we want to stick to the schedule that's posted outside the practice room, because we want to make sure that the rooms are ventilated efficiently and properly for the ultimate amount of safety and precaution that we can take. So yes, go ahead, sign up. The sign will be right outside the practice room door, and those are hour time slots. In fact, if you are having a remote lesson via a video conferencing platform, you could take your lesson, our lesson, in the practice room at school in that reserved time while your instructor is off campus.
Great, thank you.
Good question. Mhm.
I have a question. Hi,
Yes. Hi, Diana.
Dr. How are you?
Good.
Good. So my question is, when will we receive the PPE or the care package?
That's a great question. When you arrive on campus, that will be likely available. I know for our first year undergraduate students and transfer students, that will happen during the check-in process. But for graduate students, because the majority of your orientation will be virtual, I will probably work with Erin to get the right number of bags, and then have Mary Jean Sahuni, our fine arts office manager, have those so that you can pick them up when you're on campus.
Okay, so we'd pick them up probably at your office or something.
Right. Yeah. During the first week of class, I would say.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. And then regarding the singers' masks, I actually just got a confirmation email that they're on their way. They're going to be arriving on time, so Mary Jean will have those as well.
Can you explain the mask situation for our instrumentalists?
Yes, yes. So you probably know that instrumentalists, of course, need to put a mouthpiece in their mouth, which causes quite a unique challenge for someone who's wearing a mask. So what we've suggested, and what we're hearing from studies and the benchmarking that we've been doing, is that a surgical mask with a small slit, just to provide enough room for a double reed instrument or euphonium, right, Manisha? Right? A mouthpiece for euphonium to fit in that small hole so that you still have maximum coverage, and you can still catch some droplets or aerosols from the side and also from your nose. Yep, but that's the plan. And we'll have some extra surgical masks, medical masks across campus that you can pick them up in various locations, but we'll also pick up a couple of boxes so that the ensemble directors have readily, or can readily access them for you. let's see, that covered woodwind and brass. Percussionists, we have gloves because there is shared equipment for percussionists, especially with their mallets. And we're just going to be doing a lot of hand washing. We're going to take as many precautions as we possibly can. But of course, even with gloves, you know, when you touch something, then those gloves, you don't want to touch your face and you need to remove the gloves. And so we need to be conscious of all these things. And I did mention, and I think Nolan, our trumpet player, is on the call here. Maybe he already has a Windsorb spit catcher, but we did purchase some of those for our trumpet players. And then for horns and saxophone, clarinet, any instrument with a bell, Dr. Joe Lill is purchasing some shower caps to put over those bells as a way to keep some of those aerosols from spreading in the space. And of course, those movable plexiglass shields that I mentioned earlier, those can also be used for flute players. Flute players in particular have a challenge because they can play underneath the mask, but it's not all that comfortable. So our flute instructor, Dr. Huntington, has received a pattern that a high school teacher has made, and her mom is a quilter. So I think she's going to ask her mom to quilt some flute masks. And it's a regular mask. It's a little bit larger with a small slit on the side where the flute can be put into the mask and be played. So we're trying to be creative.
What will juries look like for the fall?
Great question. So because the semester is ending on Wednesday, November 25th, students that need access to instruments or facilities to complete their juries, they should plan on completing their recorded jury prior to leaving campus. In the case that a student absolutely has to have a face-to-face jury for one reason or another, they also need to complete that face-to-face jury by November 25th, and they need to have permission to do so by the end of Quad A. But they can request a face-to-face jury. All other students and the majority of our juries will be completed through recordings that will be uploaded to Canvas. And our jury forms will be created in MS Microsoft Forms, and that will be available in Canvas as well. So we're really pushing, 90% of the juries to a virtual format. But in the case of pianists, especially, if a pianist doesn't have a instrument at home that they want to complete their jury on, they could ask permission to do a live jury before November 25th, or percussionists. Great question. How many of you had an opportunity to log in on Tuesday night for the town hall? That presentation was probably the best Reader's Digest version of all the information that's coming out. I mean, the modules are great. They're highly detailed, they're long, and I do, suggest and recommend that you go through them, but the Reader's Digest version of the town hall on Tuesday evening was really, it was great. I got a lot of information, and it was just synthesized in a way that was really easily digestible, including flow charts on how we're handling situations if there is an infection. Campus Clear, there's a lot of information about the app Campus Clear that's going to be used. So I really encourage you to look at that, and that's on that Fall 2020 webpage. Manisha, do you have your own euphonium?
It's like you read my mind. I was gonna unmute and talk about that, but I was gonna say I have a baritone at home because my euphonium was like school owned, so I had to return that. So I was thinking, like, should I ask her or like just use my like baritone at home? Like,
so if you got the email from Dr. Lill about band rehearsal, I would email him back and say, I'm a new student coming in and I need an instrument. And he'll set up a time with you to go to the instrument storage room or prepare an instrument ahead of time so that you can pick it up. He'll get it all cleaned up and ready to go for you. And there's no rental cost for using instruments.
Okay, Dr. Who?
Dr. Lill, Lill.
Okay, I don't think I got any emails, but I'll check again.
Yeah, and it would go probably to your North Park email address if you're registered for concert band. So maybe that's another one to check on, Erin, just to make sure that Manisha's registered for concert band.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Anyone else in need of an instrument? Trying to look at the attendee list here, not to call you out and embarrass you in any way, but. Any other questions? Well, I have been looking forward to this point in time. I've been having a lot of meetings regarding preparations for the fall, but I think my favorite sessions have been this morning with returning students and this session with students that are new coming into our program. This is a very exciting time for you in your lives, and we are doing everything possible to create a situation where you have really creative academic content that you're going to be engaging with, and it's going to be in a variety of different formats. I would say our faculty are completely fired up to see you. In fact, in most cases, I've had to hold them back. Wait a minute, we need a 30-minute downtime in between the rooms, so then we need to, and they cannot wait to get started, and we'll be safe as we do it, and we'll be nimble and follow guidelines and have your safety and everyone's safety in mind as we do those things. But we do want to make a little bit of music this fall semester, absolutely, whether it's virtual or face-to-face. I know Dr. Davids is planning her first choral rehearsal to be outside. I'm not sure if you'll sing anything right away, but you're definitely going to get to know one another and start developing community. And as Dr. Lill mentioned in his concert band and jazz ensemble emails, that don't bring your instruments right away, but we're going to utilize outside locations as well as inside locations. And yeah, everyone is very excited to get started. And I'm proud of our faculty. They have just had a completely positive attitude throughout all of this, and a real can-do attitude, trying to identify, and instead of, sort of remorse about what we can't do, but really identify what can we do and how can we be creative. Because believe it or not, in your careers as musicians, you're going to need to do the same things that we're doing right now, which is thinking creatively about keeping music alive. So treat this as an example to have a boots on the ground experience with how some of those changes and accommodations can be made so that music can survive in an environment like this. It's a really great test case. I know we're in the middle of it. It's hard to see it that way, but it can be a real learning opportunity. Also, I think one key in order for us to be really successful this fall is communication. So if you're not getting emails from your teachers with plans about what to do, let somebody know. Whether you email Erin to say, I didn't get an email from Dr. Lill and I need a euphonium, let's start communicating. Right? Don't be shy at all. You can certainly contact myself. Mary Jean Sahuni is our Fine Arts Office Manager. She can be a resource for you as well and point you in the right direction. We will have office staff presence every day of the week. Our offices are in Wilson Hall. I will likely have 2 to 3 days a week, and then Mary Jean will have a couple days as well, but someone will be in the office during normal office hours every day of the week. So you can stop by. There's nothing wrong with face-to-face. So please do pop your head in and say hello. Great. Well, if there are other questions beyond this meeting, this is of course not the end. We can continue to communicate and figure things out as the fall semester comes. So if questions dawn on you, please feel free to reach out. It's really great to see all of you. And I look forward to connecting.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.